Hello, and welcome to Talk.Therapy.Heal. We are a group of licensed professionals talking about awesome subjects of everyday life. Join us today.
Hi, I'm Kenny King.
Hey, I'm Rachel Logan.
Hey, I'm Larisha Perlow.
And I am Yanika Willis, known as Nikki.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chantrell King. So this is what we're going to be speaking about on tonight's episode of Talk Therapy Heal, the importance of self-care. The importance of self-care. We really want to get into it and break down what self-care is and what does it look like if I want self-care, but I don't have a lot of money, simple things, but why it is so important.
Yes. So who gonna jump into that?
You have the definition right.
Yes. So let me say y'all this. So
Okay.
God, he talks to me and he told me to look up the definition care. Now this was like months ago.
Okay.
And when I read the definition, I wrote it on my mirror because I had to get this in me. Okay. So I'm not going to read everything, but this is the things I want you to take away.
Okay.
So care means serious attention or consideration applied to doing something correctly to avoid damage or risk.
Oh, wait.
Yes. Please break it down.
Yes.
Okay. It's serious attention or consideration applied to doing something correctly to avoid damage or risk.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
That last part,
To avoid damage or risk. So let that marinate, y'all. Why the importance of self-care is to avoid damage or risk. So if we care for ourselves, another definition is look after and provide for the needs of. And when I read that, I said, Lord, I have not been providing the needs of myself. I've been providing the needs of others daily, pouring in, but I haven't been looking after myself.
Wow.
therefore damaging.
Yes, and creating risk of burnout. Girl, don't let me go down the list. Depression, anxiety, health issues. That's what we're trying to avoid.
Yes.
So, what y'all think?
Wow. And just understanding self-care. I mean, even with what you're saying, a lot of times people will say, well, I got my nails done. I went and got my feet done. Or I took some time. It's more than a bubble bath and candles, right? We're talking about not risking, not damaging ourselves. Like to hear that definition, like I don't want to damage myself. Do I really think that taking a bubble bath and lighting a candle is gonna fix the
Avoid damage or risk?
Absolutely.
Oh my God, you look stunned.
I'm really in awe because first of all, we just jumped straight into this, which I love it. But I think what I'm thinking about too is, even though, like you were saying, a bubble bath, okay, that may, if you're using it for the intention to really slow your mind, slow yourself down.
Okay.
But if you're in a bubble bath, you have all these distractions. Your mind is running 1,000 miles an hour. And we're not even going to speak about if you're like a parent and you got little children, because they don't care if you in the tub. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what are you using the self-care practices intentionally for?
Right.
Yeah.
Is it to actually slow yourself down? And a lot of times we as people don't slow down. We're always multitasking, if not physically in our minds. So what do you get away and you go away to the mountains or you go away to the beach? Everybody like going to the beach. But you're steady on your phone. Do you disconnect?
Yeah.
Hearing you say that, and I have this here, it's about intentionality.
Right.
Intentionally nurturing yourself in a physical, emotional, and mental well-being. So I have to be intentional about it. Like you said, if I'm going to take that bath, am I going to intentionally set the tone, set the atmosphere for myself to not be interrupted, to not have all these distractions, to not think about the 1,001 things I have to do when I get out of this tub, but to actually just intentionally sit there and go within oneself and feel what you feel. Now that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Feeling what you
Feeling
feel.
what you feel. And a lot of people run from the feelings because I don't want to feel that.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, when it comes to self-care, they look at it in a negative light because they feel that if they're doing something for themselves, then it's taken away from somebody else. And we have to understand that self-care is not selfish. And the reason why I say that, you guys know me for my analogy, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one out the way real quick. But I call it the empty cup analogy. And we all have cups before us. We all have something to drink in them. If I was completely out of water, they would share their water with me, but they wouldn't give it all to me because at that point, they wouldn't have anything to drink. So what we have to understand, if we treat ourselves like cups, we may pour, but at some time we have to take the lid off and pour back into ourselves so that we can continue to help other individuals. Once you're empty, it's hard for you to be able to really receive because you're drained and yet you're still thinking about how to help everybody else instead of receiving or learning how to receive. So if I want to give you something, you have to come with an open hand because you can't receive anything when your hands are closed.
Yeah. No, that's good. Because do people know when they're empty?
Yeah,
That's good.
that's it.
Do you know when you're empty?
Which is why it's so important what the word talks about giving from the overflow. The overflow. If you don't have an overflow, you shouldn't be giving anything anyway.
Yeah. So I thought about
I know, go for
check
it.
this out. So I thought about it from a purpose perspective.
Okay.
So we have a manufacturer,
Come on,
we
now.
have a manufacturer who creates something. The manufacturer knows its specifications,
Oh, wow.
knows what it needs for it to work. But if we don't know the purpose, right, for us, then we can damage and we can cause risk, right, to the thing. So whether it's a relationship, whether it's, your individual self that you need to have care with. Yeah.
You said that part one more time. You said the part you have to
The
know.
purpose. You have to know the purpose of the thing.
Things.
Like for, us, many roles, many hats.
Yeah.
Mom, grandmom, you know what I mean? Therapist, ministry, you know what I mean? Leader, all of the roles. Right? What's the purpose? You know what I mean? So in order to provide that appropriate self-care, we got to know what we need. You know what I mean? We got to know what we need to be filled with.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because,
Because without knowing the purpose of the thing, we're going to mess it up.
Absolutely.
So like you said a little earlier, the bubble bath, right? So the purpose of the bubble bath is to what? Clear the mind, relax the body, right? So purpose.
Yes.
Purpose of a thing. Sorry.
No, that's right.
You are absolutely
Yeah.
So we cannot perform appropriate self-care. We don't even know the purpose to begin with.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Our purpose.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Let's break it down for the people to understand. Are we talking about the purpose of what self-care means to us or the purpose of what we need or the
Twofold.
Okay.
Need to be twofold.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
y'all.
Yeah.
This is literally like the first 10 minutes of this episode, and it is so powerfully punched because I set up and think how we were saying, okay, so you have bubble bath, you have people, I get my nails done. I know sometimes when I speak and to my clients and I ask them, okay, what do you do for self-care? I'm sure that's a common question that we ask our clients just to see where they are. And not to say what we're saying is wrong. We're not trying to beat up your self-care, but we encourage you to think a little bit deeper as to why you're doing it, right? And so it makes me think about mental health. Generally, when people think about self-care, especially people who love to be in the gym, oh, that's my self-care. I love to be in the gym. That's cool. But tying to what you were saying, what is the purpose of it? Is it a stress reliever for you?
What is it doing?
Exactly. Are you, but we will also always look at the physical. We're always looking at the physical, but is the purpose to relieve when it comes to the mental? Because our minds is such a powerful organ that was created by God that we put the mind on the back burner, but we don't understand. Let's think about people with dementia, Alzheimer's, and things like that. Alzheimer's, I'm country. But Alzheimer's, when the mind goes, everything goes. So you can have a nice buff physique body, but what is the mental doing?
Yeah.
And I found, and I don't know this to be true, I don't have scientific evidence, but it seems like to me, those who overly multitask at the max, because I'm guilty. So wearing it like a badge of honor, not anymore. We don't understand that, when you like, now what was I supposed to be doing? That's more often than not.
Yeah.
It's okay every now and then when you get to walking, oh, I'm going to go get the broom out the laundry room. And then you get halfway there, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. What was that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go all the way back to where I was at. But I'm going to tell you, I had got so bad, I was like, God, please help me remember what I was supposed to be doing. Because I think we are overusing our brain cells to the point where we're frying them. Plus, we don't have a purpose for self-care and we're not even going to talk about negative self-soothing behaviors. We're talking about that.
That's we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
We got to talk about it.
In there.
If we talking about the importance of self-care, we cannot neglect the damage if we do it unhealthy.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Way.
And I think for a lot of people,
Ooh.
it's crazy. We are a generation that we're not very proactive. We're reactive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when it comes to self-care, that's supposed to be a preventative measure. But we want to wait until we're completely drained, burnt out, run into the doctor and he's telling you that your blood pressure is sky high, finding out that you got all kinds of other things going on. Then we want to try to get right. This is something preventative. You have to start taking care of yourself at that point because nobody waits till the engine breaks down to start putting oil in it.
So right here where I'm consistency. You have to be consistent. Because like you said, if I'm going to take care of my car, I have to consistently make sure that I'm getting it checked out, right?
Absolutely.
I cannot take the car once every 5 years and think that it's going to run properly.
Right.
But this is what we do to ourselves. We will do something every so often and say, well, I did it. And so I ask most of my clients, well, when was the last time you did something that you felt good about? And it takes them a while. Like they sit there like, it's like,
That's unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. And I can't remember the last time I did something that I felt good about. Why not?
Yeah. We treat ourselves like a warranty. When we get it, I got a warranty, I'm good. And then you forget about it, you don't use it. And then right before that sucker runs out, we want to run to the dealership and be like, hey, can I get this check over before all this? And at some point, you got to realize you're going to find yourself broke down on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And that's going to cost you more than it would have if you would have took care of yourself or that engine, the maintenance ahead of time.
Yeah.
So the importance of self-care is to prevent, like you say, burnout.
Burnout.
Is to prevent damage to your body, to your mind.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you can cause yourself to forget more than what because your mind is so overly consumed. And I think about to be preventative, I'm just going to share I did a presentation about preventing burnout to a group of professionals. And I was just listening to what I was literally saying. I said, Rachel, take time off.
Right.
So next week, I was sharing I took the week off, right? Just randomly because I need to take care of myself. I need to prevent burnout. So if I'm knowing my signs and I just want us to talk about that. What are the signs so we can know before, the light come on in our car, change oil, that we get what we need before it's too late. Because when it's too late, man, y'all know what we see. We see people in mental hospitals. We see them thinking about committing suicide, dying by suicide because they reached the point of no return. So this is the importance of it, that we pause, right? And that I had wrote in my notes that we believe that we're worth being cared for. That we believe, I'm talking directly to you.
Self-worth.
Yes.
You must believe you are worth being cared for.
Absolutely.
That's good. That is good. And I think Another thing that we really have to take a look at when we're saying that we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves, especially as therapists, especially doctors, nurses, people in that helping field. If you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to be able to take care of somebody else?
Right.
If you're stressed out and you go into that surgical procedure and you're shaking it up, that could be somebody's life that you're talking there. So we also have to think about the other individuals that are connected with us. And if I don't take care of myself, how can that negatively impact that individual? I see it all the time on the job. I see bosses stressed out, and because something's not going well, now they pop off on one of the coworkers. And then when the employee pop back, now you got a whole issue that's there. And by the time they get in my office, sometimes it's like, okay, well, you're a little angry there. What got you angry? Oh, well, it was this. Well, seems like there's a lot of that going on. When's the last time you did self-care? What? They don't know. But that's what they've been institutionalized to do is just to get the job done and not take care of the machine that's going to help get the job done.
Matt, because that's what's been pushed.
Yeah, please just look. All right. So when we are on these jobs, the first thing that they do, let's go back just for a minute as we're talking about self-care. The first thing that they do in the first week of a new job is give you all the benefits and fill out this and health insurance and dental and blah, 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 blah. They let you know how much annual leave you're going to accrue, how much sick leave you're going to accrue. And many of us do not, I was guilty, many of us do not utilize sick leave to go to doctor's appointments. We will not utilize sick leave to go to mental health appointments. We will not utilize employee assistance program to where you can get how many sessions?
Sick.
You can get 6
Sometimes
sessions.
8, sometimes 20. Yeah, sometimes
Right.
Yeah.
So you have these tools readily available to use. That is your benefit, but we don't use it. Now, let me speak to the supervisors for a minute.
Okay.
So I'm going to encourage you all supervisors, because you know I get passionate, so I'm trying to hold my mute. But I encourage you all supervisors. I'm going to say it just like this, and this is going to sound really unprofessional, but to the point. Stop power tripping with people's lives. And what I mean by that is this. If employee comes to you and you know they are a worker, they show up on time, they handle whatever, they help you put out fires. Just because you have power and you are in leadership, which a lot of people are not true leaders, but that's a whole nother story. But you have power and leadership. Just because things are maybe going on at your home, that doesn't mean you get to play with your employees' lives. If they put in their request because something is going on with their family, if they put in their request because they need time off, it is not your business as a supervisor. How many supervisors have we had to say, you need to lead people? Okay. It is not your business. So we're speaking facts when we're talking about mental health. It is not your business to wonder where they're going, what they're doing. You don't need to know all that. You need to know that they have the leave. They put the leave in like I used to do with my staff. It's 5 of you all. I don't want any more than two out at a time. So if y'all gonna put off some time, put in leave, y'all talk to each other and make sure before you even get to me. And then the machine can still run smoothly, the organization. But the thing is, I think a lot of people suffer as employees because you're too scared to go and ask for your time off. And then they will tell you, oh, well, you got to hurry up and use this. This is use or lose. No, you plan your time off.
Yeah.
A person shouldn't be punished for that. So all you leaders that have employees under you, don't do that because you are very well messing with their mental. And how many people have you all heard? And it makes me so furious when I hear this of employees that have died at the job. They put their head down for 5 minutes and never woke up at their desk. But they've asked for time off and you feel bad. But then again, y'all seen this in social media and all these types of things. Remember, we just raised our hand. Those who were in super leadership, when they say that they're going to replace you, when they say that your job announcement is at HR, they're going to allow the staff to get through the memorial. When you're no longer here, but you best believe as soon as they go ahead and have your service, that job announcement is going to be announced. So utilize your benefits, employees, and leaders. Stop abusing your power when it comes to these employees. And y'all sit up and wonder why in the job market, people now are standing up saying, mm-mm. When we put in our leave and you know your worth as an employee, yes, it's a request, but it's really not. It's a courtesy.
It's a courtesy notification.
It's a courtesy.
Be here.
That part. So either you approve my leave or you get a 2-week notice. What are we talking about?
Yes.
Know your worth.
Yes, know your worth.
I think sometimes when we're talking about that of knowing your worth and working jobs where we feel like we can't take the time off, it's because of all the responsibilities that we feel like we have outside of that we have to take care of. So I can't do what you said and just say, you know what, since you ain't gonna give me my time off, I'm gonna put my 2 weeks notice in. I'm hearing a lot with clients too that it's becoming a little bit more difficult to find work. So it's like when you have that job, you hold on to that job, you keep that job, and no matter how they treat you, you stay in it.
Take it.
You take it. And it's some of the things that it goes across the board, because then people stay in relationships that they shouldn't be in because they don't know their worth. Or they're afraid that if I let this go, then I'm not going to be able to find anything like this ever again. Or I'm not like, you really ain't losing anything, but that's a whole nother show too. You're not really losing anything, but in their mind, they can't process the fact of letting it go to make sure that they're good, because again, what you said a little earlier, selfishness. Now I'm being seen as selfish. Well, it's not selfish when it's you. We're talking about you, taking care of you. Just like she read earlier with that definition, you're damaging you when you don't put you first. It's the whole thing with the fuel, you can't. Oh, Lord.
I know. It's a drive home.
It's so much, because I see it so many times, so much in the therapeutic room, the space that clients are coming in. I can't say no. I can't do this. I can't do that, because if I do, then people are going to leave, or they're going to think this, or they're going to think that. And so they're afraid of abandonment. They're afraid of rejection. So it goes deeper than just being able to take care of yourself. It's about identity.
It's about voice.
And voice. Yes. I don't feel like I can speak up, especially in the workplace. If I speak up, then there's going to be retaliation. They're going to come for me. Then my job is going to be in jeopardy, and I can't lose my job, because if I lose my job, then I can't take care of my family.
Right.
That sounds like stress.
Man,
I'm stressed out just with what you're saying.
The importance of self-care. So when you said that made me think of something. You got to start doing this young, early. Early, because you said something key. You said, if you don't have a voice, then that means, okay, man, I think about my kids, right? They don't know that they need breaks until you say you need to stop, right? So like my kids can watch TV endlessly. They could go outside until the streetlights come home, right? That come on. They can just continue to consume. They can continue to show up for basketball practice, football, and just keep going until they wiped out, right? And so we have to start this early of learning to take care of ourselves early, because youth, right? Our world is so performance based. So I feel like they do because they want to get the accolades, they want the attention, they want the money, whatever the cause is. But we have to teach this early. So younger high schoolers, because we see if you work with kids or teenagers, they get burnt out too. And then they say, I don't want to go to school anymore, or they stop showing up to school, or they drop out. Why? Because they're overwhelmed and they haven't been properly taught how to take care of themselves.
Yeah, that's good. I think we all have been traveling before, and we've all taken a trip on an airplane. And self-care reminds me of that airplane ride. They get you on there, they tell you to sit down, and then they start giving you instructions. And so with self-care, you have to give yourself instructions. Well, number one, they're going to tell you to sit down and please put your seatbelt on. So that means you get somewhere and sit down, strap yourself in, and get ready to take a trip for yourself. At that point, they're going to also tell you that individuals are going to be giving you instructions. Put away all your cell phone devices. Sometimes we need to step away from that, because that causes a lot of stress on us in itself. Every time the phone rings, there's somebody else on the phone needing something from you, but you don't want to put that down to take care of yourself. You get stress put on you because of the TV. We always see all the bad stuff on TV. Very seldom do you see anything that has anything good on there. And then they will tell you that as you get ready to take off, you got to have everything in the upright position. You got to get yourself in a posture of being able to take care of yourself, because if you're in this position here, you ain't doing nothing no good from anybody. And then the last thing I'll say is all the flight attendants will always tell you that if for some reason the cabin pressure, put your mask on first. That's what self-care is all about. Being able to put your mask on so that if someone else needs some help, then you can help that individual.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna do you no good if you sit there and say, oh, you know what? What's that gonna do? Nothing.
That's smooth out.
That's smooth out. And so that person's all good, but you're out. But you know what? We allow people to do that to us. And so I've seen a lot of individuals to come to me for short-term counseling. I have to let them know it's okay for you to take care of yourself because everybody else is doing it. So get ready to take that trip. Sit down, strap yourself in, get that briefing, and take care of yourself so that you can have the ability to enjoy the trip of life.
You know what I hear you saying? Set boundaries.
Yes.
I would. I think. What is the percentage? I don't even want to. You keep that.
Yeah.
But as licensed professionals, the percentage of clients that you deal with. Okay, go ahead.
99 have absolutely no boundaries. And if they do have boundaries, they are so very loose, laid down, and certain people get to walk all over them. And then you put them in place for other people, and that's a whole nother thing. But set boundaries, because that's important. That protects the energy. So it gives, if you don't have any energy, going back to if your cup is not overflowing, you need to put some boundaries in place, because you're not supposed to give from the cup that you are drinking from. You give from the overflow of that cup. My cup needs to be overflowing in order to give to someone else, because I think, and oh my God, Lord help me to get this all together.
Okay, get it together. Look, ground yourself. Like we talking.
You got so much to.
Yes. Come on.
This is the overflow.
Okay.
Yes, because I take care of myself.
Yes.
Ooh, I take care.
You definitely do.
I take care of myself. And then speaking to, taking that time off, and you were talking about, take the time off and then blocking off that time for your week off next week. I have blocked off a week now. It will start June, but blocking off a week every single month. I will only work 3 weeks out of a month. And
3 days.
And then 3 days out of a week.
Yep, 3 days out of a week.
I will work 3 days out of the week and 3 weeks out of the month.
Come on, homie. That's
Yes. And
Look, that sounds like God.
It took for me to take the time to sit down, strap myself in, and get in that upright position and find out what I needed from me. That I couldn't go based upon what everybody else was doing in their life and how their life was panned out and all of the things. I had to look at Nikki. And Nikki's life said she only needs to work 3 days a week and 3 weeks out of the month. That's my self-care. That's my self-care.
So pause and ask yourself, what do I need? What do I long for? What will help me overflow?
Yes.
You pause, like for real, write this down, like pause it and then write down what you need.
Give the homework.
It is okay to need it. It's okay to desire it. It's okay to want it. Like you said, it might not be the same as, the next person.
Right.
It's personal.
It definitely is personal. It is definitely personal. But I think because we have social media, we're always comparing ourselves to others, being influenced by others. And I said I was going to make this a post a while ago, and I didn't, because I just had so many clients coming to me talking about what they were influenced to do off of social media. And I was like, I wonder what it would be if you were self-influenced.
Wow.
If you influenced yourself.
Wow.
Yes, right. That you took the time to ask yourself, what is it that you needed, and provided it it for yourself, and you made sure you did everything to make sure that thing came to pass. You influenced yourself not to go buy a purse, not to go buy a pair of shoes, not to take a trip, but you influenced yourself to say, you know what?
Yeah.
I need 10 minutes before whatever it is that you're doing. Or I need to take an hour for myself every day.
Yeah.
Influence yourself to take care of you.
Influence yourself.
Yes,
Just
ma'am. Go ahead.
Accountability.
Mm.
How do you hold yourself?
That's it. That's real.
Communication.
How? With yourself.
Yeah.
With yourself.
Communicate with yourself. I believe you can also maybe partner with someone. Because if I know that my wife is stressed, I may have to get there and say, look, we need to take some time. And it's just about holding each other accountable. You can find yourself a partner and do that. I think for a lot of people, they don't understand that self-care is needed by everybody. And if you pull somebody in with you, you get that accountability. You've got a partner. Maybe that thing starts to spread and you start to affect individuals in a positive way. Where I work at, we started to realize that with a lot of individuals coming in saying that they were stressed, wore out, they can't get any time. So we opened up a self-care room, a relaxation room. And I would get individuals that would come up and say, okay, Mr. King, how much time do I have? I said, well, we kind of have a 30-minute limit. But then I'll go in there and knock on the door. Hey, you doing good? Yeah. Nobody else is out here. You want another 30 minutes? And I went in there and knocked on the door. And they said they can't sleep at home, but they need that. You have to know how much your body, your mind, your soul needs self-care. So with that, we've got a lot of different self-care ideas, but I have to take a moment to say what self-care is not. Nikki was knocking on that door. Self-care is not running out there trying to buy up the whole mall. Because you may feel good in that moment, but when you have to pay that bill, now you got more stress about your finances, and now you got to go back and do that.
That ain't self-care.
That's not self-care. Self-care is not overindulging in food where you're eating yourself into an unhealthy state. It's not deciding, well, you know what, I want to go have a drink, and then you end up closing the bar down and having to call an Uber to take you home. Everything should be done in an appropriate manner with appropriate amounts for the nurturing of your body, your mind, and your soul. You can't drink a whole bottle of Jack Daniels to say that was self-care, because your body, you may be feeling good one way, but when you wake up that next day, that headache's going to be there. Your body's going to react to that in a negative fashion. This is all about positive things going inside your body, your mind, your soul, so that you get positive things out of it and not negatives.
Yes, I like that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to pause because you asked the question, Larissa. You said accountability. Like, how do you? And then I feel like we need to come back around to that though too. About accountability. How do you hold yourself to that, to take care of you? And one thing that I have wrote down was scheduling self-care. So treating self-care activities as non-negotiable appointments in your calendar. You treat it just like any other appointment. You don't cancel it for nothing. And that's one of the things that I do. If I got something set for me, I don't care what you got going on. I'm not canceling what I have for me, especially when I know I need it. So if I scheduled a massage, I'm going to get my massage. You have to almost be dying. Almost be dying for me to lay down or call and cancel, say, hey, I can't make my massage today because such and such is dying. And I know I'm treating it as a joke, but I'm really being serious about that, because we will negotiate our time all the time with people. Like if we say no, and that was the other thing, practicing saying no. Like learn to say no to commitments that drain your energy and leave you feeling depleted. Allowing space for activities that nourish your soul. So we'll tell a person no, but then I can't do it, but maybe if, and then we start compromising. And so now we leave it open for somebody else to dictate our time. And now we're stuck here like, I really didn't want to do that. Well, why didn't you just let your no be no? Your no is no. No is a complete sentence, y'all. It does not warrant an explanation.
At all. At all.
Isn't it funny that we'll take all those no's from everybody else, but we won't give them?
And you know, this is, so sitting up here listening to you all speak, a question that I've been asking all of my clients, myself, those, you know, in family, whatever the case may be that I'm in relationship with, because we mentioned boundaries.
Mm.
And it's so hard to set boundaries. And I remember I was working with a specific client, and the client kept reverting back to things that were kind of self-destructive, allowing people, to step over and all this kind of stuff, run over the individual. And so I asked the client, I said, I need you to write down something, because some might be with my clients, you always is going to have your composition book. Well, you working with me. So I said, go on ahead and write down your little church notes. That's how I speak, because that's part of your homework as we go through our session. And so I said, write down, what is it going to take for me to love myself?
Wow.
What is it going to take for me to love myself? What do I need to love myself? And so, of course, when I ask, that's a loaded question, because we don't think about self. So when I ask, it's like, ooh, that's your homework. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it next week. What I find is when you start thinking on and making a list of the things that you need to love yourself, that you need to do, then that's easier when it comes to setting the boundaries and sticking to them. Because once my clients revert back, I'll say, hold on now. Hold on. Now, this is a boundary that you set. And remember, before that, your exercise was, what did you need to love yourself? And I remember you said, so that's how I am. And they be like, oh, Miss Chantrell, I love you. But I remember you said, so those two parallel. So now you're falling back. But a lot of times we as people, we want to blame others. So that comes in as self-accountability. We can't blame others for what we allow individuals to do when it comes to us. If we give them the power to dictate our time, like you were speaking about. So as Rachel was saying, if you're listening on tonight, write that down. What will it take for me to love myself? A lot of us didn't see it growing up. A lot of us were not taught it growing up. And a lot of parents that I work with desire to do different. They just don't know how. Not realizing it starts with you first.
Yeah.
Even in your marriage, being relational, it starts with, well, my husband and my husband and my husband.
It's not. Yeah. They make it seem like it's conditional. It's based on if the star hits there and the wave hits.
The eclipse.
And the curve comes in.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
It's not based on condition. It's based on your need.
Come on.
Yes.
It's not a conditional.
That's good. That's
You know, because I personally, if my kids go to bed at 9, then I can say I can get self-care. No, it can't be based on external factors. It has to be based on what I'm enforcing. And I think when people set boundaries and then they get pushback, that's when they retract. Because a part of them is scared of what somebody is going to think about them for setting boundaries and saying, "Hey, no, I can't go out tonight because I'm taking care of myself." Like people are afraid of how others will respond to them because they're taking care of themselves because it wasn't, brought up in their family.
Absolutely. And people have to know, like we said earlier, themselves.
Yeah.
And I think no one modeled that more to us than Jesus. Jesus got tired, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
I got hungry, I'm going to eat. When I really wore out and I'm blessed all these people, I'm going to go spend time with my Father. So if you're a believer, that is something that's already been modeled for you, because if Jesus had to do it, what makes you think you ain't got to take care of yourself in order to keep going forward so that you can bless other individuals, so that you can continue to bless yourself and receive that overflow that Nikki was talking about?
Yeah. When you said that, it made me think about when Jesus and the crew was in the boat. And he was
Yeah. Y'all going up over there. I'm going to chill out later. Yeah.
Jesus, it's raging. We about to drink.
We're about to die.
Yeah.
Jesus, like, y'all really woke me up for this. Please be still. And
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Yes, that's real good.
Okay.
And that's exactly what my brain was.
So is it possible that we can speak about self-sabotaging behaviors that lead to the self-destruction, your definition that you gave in the beginning? Because what I've learned, and I'm sure y'all seen this as well, a lot of people, they just don't know. They think that it's right, but they don't know. So like Kenya was saying with alcohol, for example, using it, people are, oh, it makes me feel good. it's dehydrating you. You know what I'm saying? You've probably gotten into a vehicle. Now you have a DUI. All these things are compounding. So but it makes me feel good. Or this is what I seen my parents do, or my favorite uncle. They would always turn to alcohol to self-soothe. And so I know some of y'all like, oh, she's being judgmental. No, I mean, you do everything in moderation. I don't care if you drink. You could drink too much water and die. People don't know that. And so it's like, that's a good example. Another one is sex. Because if you have an addiction and you feel like, I really don't want to deal with my issues, I don't want to deal with myself, so you're always trying to numbing. It's like a numbing agent. It'll make me feel good for the moment. Then afterwards, I feel empty. What's some other things?
No, that's a good point.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the key that I think people have to think about. When you're really doing self-care in a positive way, there is no regret. There is no emptiness, because you have did what is required to rejuvenate yourself, and it's a good feeling about it. If Nikki goes and gets a massage and she is relaxed, when she comes up out of that massage, it's, oh my God, I can't wait till I come back and get another one. It ain't one of those things like, oh yeah, this feels so good. Right? Oh God, I'm about to puke. No, it's not that.
Right.
So we have to know that whatever we're doing that is soothing us is beneficial, and you have no regret from it later on. And I'm trying to think of the Bible verse, the blessings of the Lord make it rich and added no sorrow to it. So if you're doing self-care and it's bringing you sorrow, it's not self-care.
Yeah. I love it.
So what do you guys like to do for self-care? I know you say massage, but what are some other examples?
Okay, so for me, I am very simple. Of course, I love to travel. That's my thing. That's my thing. So I love going to new places, and I hate to say leave the world behind, because it was just a whole movie. But but a simple self-care thing that I like to do is I love to go out, as we say in the country, on the back porch. Most people call it outdoor living area, and just stare at the trees. It's quiet. It's peaceful. I like to walk barefooted in the grass. And not just because I'm country, but it's actually a form of grounding. You're connecting.
And that color green is calming.
Yeah.
It's very calming.
So those are a couple of my things. How about you?
Okay. So in addition to the whole massage thing, I love to take baths, and I know I said bubble baths is not a form of self-care, but let me tell y'all, it can be. I have essential oils that I put in there that are so relaxing and calming to my body. Like, I can feel myself in the water, and that's the thing. It's about intentionality. So when I take my bath, I'm intentional about what oils I'm putting in my bath. I'm intentional about what soaps I'm using. I'm intentional about the candle that I'm lighting. I'm intentional about the atmosphere that I'm creating around me. And so when I get in the water, I'm feeling the water on my body. I'm taking in all of the senses. That is self-care, because it's putting me in that moment. It is helping me to be grounded, and it's helping me to understand and feel my body in the moment. So I am present and in the moment in my baths, and it is so relaxing. So relaxing. When I get out of the tub, I do this with clients when I do grounding exercises, and I do like the senses, and then I do the oh my God, no.
Body tension.
The body relaxation. So I do the full body relaxation. And they always say, I need to take a nap now. That's what my bath makes me feel like. When I get out, I'm ready to take a nap, because my body has released all of the things into that water. And now I am refreshed, I'm rejuvenated, and I need to, that kind of replenish me to take that nap. And now I'm good to go.
Yeah, that's good.
So I said for myself, it's music. Listening to music, praise and worship music. If I can just lay out, face down, just lay out before the Lord, just thankfulness, and speaking things of gratitude and thankfulness. And I like to read. And also just, inspirational things and or things that would settle my mind. It's also relaxing massages, pedicures, all that good stuff too. Sleep.
So Okay,
I'm just saying.
Yes, sleep
Taking a
is
nap.
real. It's self-care. Taking a nap, especially in the middle of your day, is self-care. So when you say pedicures, because I know people say, "Well, I go get my nails done, I go get my feet done all the time." But when I tell my clients, when you go, are they just doing your nails and you ready to hurry up and get out? Are you thinking about everything you got to go do when you leave, or do you feel them doing your?
I feel them more so in my pedicures. I go to the specific places that remove the toxins.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They do
Yes.
the scrubs, they do the massaging, and I bring my own oils that they can use, you know what I mean, in the water. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
That's good.
yeah.
So you saying what you're really saying is like mindfulness, like being
Yes.
present in the
Yes.
moment, not multitasking that you
Mhm.
talked about,
Yes.
but being aware and allowing the sensation to soothe you in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something you can do any day.
Any day.
Yeah, I know I practice that with my clients. You know, that one is like the five senses. So like looking around what's in the room.
Yeah.
I would with the texture of things. But one thing that I do like, I like smells. So I really like a coffee house.
Really?
So I like to go to like where I live in Barnes and Noble, and I just like to go there and I love the aroma of coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I love the smell. I like to just walk around and look at books. That's just so calming because there's nobody distracting me. Nobody's asking me for anything. I'm just looking. I love books. So just being in that atmosphere is so good for me.
Awesome.
And I like just being still. So last night, just preparing for the things that's coming up, I just was still. I just like to be in my office, you know, the instrumental music, and just be still and allow myself to journal. Like I really like to write out my thoughts because so much is happening up here sometimes.
That's
So
a form of self-care.
yeah, just
a journal.
and it's nothing in particular. I don't have a set agenda. It's just me just saying, hey, this is what is on my mind.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do.
Goodness.
Yeah. I'm a little bit different. Y'all seem like y'all like to be quiet. For me, I'm country by heart. And so put me back in my element. I like to hunt. I like to fish. I love camping, riding horses. And for me, it's getting in tune with nature. If I decide to grab my bow and go run up a tree, just sitting in that tree and I see the animals and how they interact with each other, how the wind blows through the trees, the stuff you guys see on TV and somebody be like, hey, what was that? And nobody else heard it. Yeah, that's me. I can hear that twig snap and turn my head and see a squirrel running through the woods. And it kind of puts me back in tune with God, back in tune with nature, to say that squirrel is not just running, he's preparing. He's preparing for winter. He's burying nuts. Oh, he's building a nest. And it gets me to see all the things that are around there to help me understand my surroundings. And sometimes what I have to do is you might want to be like that squirrel and hurry up and go drop whatever you hunt so that you can pack some stuff in the freezer for winter. That's just me. It's being out there alone or even with a buddy or my sons that may be hunting with me and just enjoying that alone time. Quiet, because you have to be quiet when you're watching all of that going on.
So you do then like to be quiet.
But it's intentional. I don't want the deer to hear me.
Our quiet is intentional.
Yeah.
If I may, and you know, I know this show, I love it. I want to ask Mr. King, and more so from okay, and I know you can't answer for all males, but why does it seem like it may be challenging for men to practice self-care?
They haven't really been taught otherwise. They've been institutionalized to believe the machoism is that I'm a man. I have to do this. I have to do that. When a problem comes up, I have to jump on it and fix it. And if you take some time for yourself, sometimes you have individuals that are around you telling you that you're lazy. What are you laying down for? What are you doing this for? And people have to understand, if you don't give that man time to rest and rejuvenate, he ain't gonna be there with you long. So for a lot of men, it was just being raised up, being taught negative things because they're saying in order to be successful, you've got to do all these things to get there. Well, if you don't take a break every once in a while, then you're never going to get there because you're going to burn out, fizzle out before you even get a chance to enjoy that. We've been taught that from grades 1 through 12, you work hard to get out of school. And then right out of school, you got to work hard to get to college. And then after college, you got to get that job. And then after get the job, you got to get the wife, the kids, the picket fence, the house, the car, all that stuff. And then when you turn 65, they say, now you can relax. And then you're dead at 67.
And I think now it's 67.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah. So you're institutionalized to go, 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 instead of just saying, no, I can still get to 67 or whatever and beyond, God willing, if I just take my time and enjoy the things that I'm working towards. There's nothing wrong with working hard, but everybody needs to take a break.
I feel like you in a whole nother show again.
Yeah. But it's like,
But it's good.
It's a
though.
preview.
yeah, but
It's
think
a
about
preview
it.
to another show. Y'all don't want to tune in.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
I think not only men, but everybody, because it happens to a lot of people. We have to treat ourselves like an assembly line. There may be times at your work, but there's some times where they shut that assembly down. What they have to do. They have to oil some things. They have to do maintenance in order for it to be able to keep producing.
Look at that.
Mhm.
Look at that. Maintenance.
This is
Maintenance.
Ooh, I think self-care we didn't kind of hit in from.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to go back and watch the show.
So as we get ready to wrap it up, I want everybody to give like that one last tip that you can to people that would help them in some way either understand self-care, the importance of self-care, or a tip on how to implement self-care. Yeah, those either one of those things. Let's give a tip. I think, well, I guess I'll go first since I'm already talking. My tip or the thing that I would want to go back to is what I said about scheduling. Like the importance of self-care should not be negotiated. It should not be something that, like Shan said earlier, or one of y'all said, if I can, I think that was you said, if I can, then if this works and rounds up. No, if it's something you want to do, do it. Time waits for no one. And time, we know, it's fleeting.
Yes.
If it's something you want to do, schedule it and do it.
One of the things that I wrote down, and it's interesting that you said this, I meant to say it, but we kind of kept going and got into the show, which is amazing. Self-care is tapping into self. And a lot of times when we do self-care, we do it based off of what someone else does. And I believe someone had made mention, no, tap into yourself. Think medical. Think mental, but think medical. Okay, wait a minute. What's going on with my body? Why? It's because a lot of times when we are overusing our body's designed to where it gives us warning signs, but we ignore it. We shut off our mental and ignore it. No, connect your mental with your body, and you have to look within and stop avoiding and then get mad at everyone else, the doctors, your family, when they try to tell you, and now you, God forbid, bedridden. So self-care is tapping into self. It is okay to give yourself permission to tap into yourself.
That's good.
That's it. I'd say self-care is not selfish.
Yes.
That's a myth. Don't believe the hype.
I would say believe you are worth being cared for.
That's good. That's good. And for me, it's being intentional, making the time to do it. And like Nikki said, be like Nike, just do it.
That's it. Well, that's it. And that's all, y'all.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Talk Therapy Heal as we dove into the importance of self-care. We hope that you walk away with something that impacted you in a positive manner that is going to provoke you to want to change. We want you to make sure on that YouTube, you hit like, you subscribe, and you share, because sharing is caring.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.